And hello, I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, also known as Agent 56 with the CIA, the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. Welcome to Cosmic Connections. We like to meet here on Wednesdays, and we talk about the astrology of the week. And as I'm also a medium, a psychic medium, I will provide some mediumistic messages for you after we talk first about the astrology. So wherever you may be on the planet, please say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. And I also linked the links to the Cosmic Intelligence Agency for your perusal. If you're not yet a member, and if you have not yet gotten your wonderful February edition of Time Lords, I can't say enough about the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. It's a consortium of wonderful astrologers around the planet. And what we do is just provide you with webinars and tools, and now a new journal and all sorts of support in your astrological journey. Hello, Monica from NC, from North Carolina. And just say hello, come on in, and we're going to talk about the full moon. Patricia, welcome. Good evening from the Bronx. Hello from Connecticut, Marilla. Marilla, that's a pretty name. I almost said Marilyn, but it's Marilla. I don't know where to start. This is such an amazingly intense, energetic day because of that full moon. I'm going to bring some PowerPoint slides into the mix in just a few moments. But keep in mind, I like to make it simple with astrology because I have had a passion for not just doing astrology, having clients for these many decades of astrological service, but I really love to turn people on to astrology for the first time. I'm just rounding out my Learn Astrology class, and it's just been wonderful because to me, to know the language is to understand our connection, and that nothing is really terribly random. And we like to prove that here when we look at the charts of significant people or events during the astrological talk during this particular program of Cosmic Connections. Hi, Anja. Hi, Patty. Hi, Heather. Thank you for being here from the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and all the way to Patty from Kenmore, New York, and from Colorado, Heather. I love it. I love that we are having the tools that we can connect from around the globe. Wherever you may be, we are all experiencing quite a dramatic full moon because it's creating what we call a yod with Neptune and Pluto. So we'll get to that in just a moment. As we look at the big news stories, I like to tap into one or two stories which reflects the narrative. I'm going to talk a bit, of course, about the specific truckers strike in Canada. And we're going to talk a little bit tonight also about the chitter and the chatter and the Twitter and the very much the concern about what's happening in the Ukraine. Because right before I started doing the Cosmic Connections tonight, there was some additional reports that 7,000 troops have been moved into the border towards the Ukraine by the Russians. All eyes are in that area. But we're going to take a look at the U.S. chart tonight to see why this full moon is so gravely significant for this particular week. All right, so let's bring some slides into the room. Good day, Vixie. Hello, Tamara. Hi, Ripple. Good evening. Good evening. Hi, Lovey. Hello. And feel free to comment on what you would like to comment at all. How I organize my astrology, I use the lunations. I use the 8 phases, and that's what we do here in Cosmic Connections. I should say this is the lunations of the week, but of course we bring in other aspects in the astrology. Keeping in mind, we're still under the Aquarius umbrella. We had that new moon on February 1st, and now we have the completion or the ability to see in the dark with the full moon. So I like to envision that the new moon, we're inhaling information. We're inhaling, we're filling up our psychic spiritual lungs with a newness. And then at the full, right at the moment of the full moon, we're exhaling and we're allowing and seeing the manifestation and work in our own lives and in the world. So keeping in mind, what's Aquarius? It's humanity. It's electric, eccentric, electricity, it's energy, and it's basically tribalism. It's the idea of our associations, our friends. You all know that if you've been studying astrology. But keep in mind, too much of one sign needs to have the grounding of the opposite sign. So obviously, the group matters, but individual rights, i.e., Leo, matters as well. So Leo is always going to be the full moon during the Aquarius time of the year. Isn't that eloquent? Isn't the universe eloquent? Because it gives us that touchstone by the full moon. We're having Aquarius, 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 and then we have the Leo shining back at us. Let's talk about individuality in the context of the greater collective. So as I promised, I was talking a little bit about this truckers freedom convoy that started at the new moon, and now we're seeing it in a different light. The other aspect of the full moon, of course, is prior to the full moon, during the gibbous cycle, the past few days, there's this anticipation. There's often a sense of anxiety or heightened emotional sensitivity. And there's been a couple of studies out there. The Lunar Effect is a book that came out a number of years ago that was talking about bleeding during surgeries. It wasn't happening at the full cycle. It would be happening at gibbous a couple of days before, when our collective, whether it's called the immunity or the bloodstream, seems to be more heightened. And so translate that to our sense of emotional connection to what's happening out there, which is always reflecting within ourselves. So prior to the full moon, this was the big story coming out of Canada, the truckers' strike, of course, and the millions of dollars that was being gathered by various crowdsourcing fund pages, including GoFundMe, etc. You know the story. The funds were confiscated. The monies were frozen in Toronto, in the Bank of Toronto, and so forth. The other piece of this is that this is relevant to the Sabian symbol, which I'll share with you in just a moment, of this full moon. Congruent with that was the fact that the donors of the fundraising, their data was being disseminated by the government. I think that's quite a breach of privacy. But so if you did perhaps donate to the truckers, your name, your email, and apparently maybe your home address is out there in the world. We also had, of course, arrests made on Sunday as Canada had garnered the Emergencies Act. This happened today. This is the news story today. There were 16 governors from the United States who were urging this open letter, and I'll just briefly identify the letter for you, urging the reinstatement of exemptions. And they were qualifying their request to President Biden and Prime Minister Trudeau, because look at, dear leaders of ours, this is impacting the supply chain. It's hurting people. It's hurting North America. And the timing of your decision to terminate the vaccines and quarantine exemptions could not have been worse, as North America already faces grave supply chain constraints. These constraints, combined with increasing inflation, place significant burdens on the residents of Canada and the United States. Okay, so this letter just came out today with the full moon. My interpretation of that, when we get to the Sabian symbol and the analysis of the full moon, is that there is going to be more and more attempts to come to some sort of compromise, might not be the right word, but some sort of solution to this very difficult strike. All right, this is the full moon chart. Remember, at the full moon, we're seeing in the dark. We're having a whole new perspective. We're seeing literally in the dark. And this particular chart creates what's called a yod, the finger of God. The moon is at 27 degrees of Leo. It's in conjuncting Pluto. I like to call Pluto the Godfather. Pluto is the planet of subterranean power, manipulation, and control. It works in the shadows sometimes, like a, Godfather type. It's also in conjuncting Neptune, which is smoke and mirrors. It's fantasy, and the positive side of Neptune, of course, would be compassion and spirituality. But when we see a yod, that's a very active configuration of awareness. But you get to that point of awareness by not using the usual steps. A straightaway opposition or a full moon is when you place yourself in someone else's position and you barter back and forth, you negotiate. An inconjunct, two inconjuncts, you're not sure what to say. You might trigger someone, you might say something wrong, you might be, you might create havoc. So it's irreconcilable differences. I mean, it's not easy to remove whatever 6-wheelers off of a bridge, right? I mean, trucks are the behemoths of transportation. That's not an easy thing. We're just going to move the trucks, right? We're just going to take the air out of the tire of the trucks and move them. With what? Another truck? I mean, on and on it goes. There's a lot of little nuances with this particular story. So this inconjunct, the yod is being formed here. We also have Hygeia in conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Now, Hygeia is the asteroid associated, of course, with health management. And across the board, any story I've been seeing has been reflecting this. We are having a downtick of V cases, right? And less hospitalizations, but there seems to be a specter in the winds too, that there might be some other terrifying illnesses around the corner. But at least right now, this inconjunct is asking us to what to do next. Many people are calling for the renewal and the completion of the old mandates with the masks. We also have Hygeia opposite Uranus. The moon, of course, is in conjunct here. This is a wow type of full moon. The other thing that's really fascinating, friends, you might be familiar with the Venus star point, right? I know the beautiful foundress of the CIA, Julia Simos, is a fantastic authority on Venus and her orbit. Well, what Venus does, she makes this beautiful flower in the sky, and then every so often she conjuncts or is next to the sun, and that's called a Venus star point. We had one on January 8th. The degree of the Venus star point is being activated in this full moon chart. So go back to January 8th to reconsider what your hopes and dreams and ambitions were, because Mars and Venus are pushing up against each other in your chart where you find Capricorn to get going on some ambition that perhaps you stated or you wanted to complete back on January 8th. So this is about a personal reconfiguration of some ambitions you've had, and the full moon is enlightening, illuminating a pathway for you to take care of unfinished business concerning a particular goal you had. All right. Oh, so Carrie asked a great question. Feel free to ask questions during the comments too. Well, Miss Carrie, if you were born on January 8th, congratulations for getting through the past 2 years intact, right? Because we had the major conjunction of Pluto, Mr. Behind the scenes, the power manipulation control planet. Pluto was conjunct Saturn back on January 12th of 2020. So all Capricorns have been feeling this transformation, but this particular birthday, Carrie, the sun and Venus were illuminating in your solar return chart. I know the Cosmic Intelligence Agency just had a webinar, I believe, on solar returns. If you're not familiar with solar return charts, Carrie, please get one, because you'll see that illumination of your dream in your solar return chart is going to be taking you for the next year. A fantastic year for you to put your metal to the pedal to the metal, and achieve something you've been wanting to do for at least 2 years. Hi, Barbara from PA. Hi, Bermit. Hello. Hello for Uruguay. Wonderful, Eugenia. That's fabulous. Okay. Ripple, thank you for your comment. Hi, Carrie, Annika. Hello, Pollyanna from Puerto Rico. Beautiful land indeed. Hi, Laura Jean from Canada. Happy full snow moon in Leo. Indeed, Anne-Marie. Christy, hello. And thank you for saying that, Lovey, reminding me. After we do our astrology, I will be doing little mini readings for people that are mediumistic. Hi, Judy. And thank you for all being here. And feel free to share this, by the way. Hi, Tony from DC. Touched by Tone. That's a cute handle. So you can see this full moon. It's asking us to see in the dark. Identify, friends, where you find 27 degrees of Leo, because that's being lit up in your own chart. Okay. Oh, Karatina, that's fabulous. I wish you could show a picture. That's so fantastic. We have ice, rain, thunder, lightning, what? And hail. That's wild summer and winter in the same week coming in from LA. Okay, Vixie, this is an important full moon for you, for real, because it's illuminating your rising sign. I'm going to go through all the signs in just a moment, friends, but keep in mind the Leo sign, again, it's the opposite to Aquarius. Aquarius is the group. Aquarius is society. Aquarius is humanity. The Leo moon is giving us a chance to restabilize so much emphasis on the group into our heart's desire, into the passion of the individual. So there is our full moon. And I love this full moon Sabian symbol. If you're not familiar with Sabian symbols, one of Australia's own, Linda Hill, Linda with a Y. She is also an agent at the CIA. Give her a big shout out and appreciation. She rewrote in a very vernacular language the very esoteric words that were originally given to us in 1928 from the Sabian symbols. Now, that's when a medium, an astrologer, Mark Emmon Jones, Elsie Wheeler, got together, they meditated, and they had downloads from the Sabian astrological beings in the other plane, the other dimensions, and they gave them random pictures for each degree of the 360 degrees on our mandala we call the astrological wheel, right? So there's 360 degrees on a wheel, and we have 360 word pictures. The word picture for this full moon that applies for everyone is 28 degrees of Leo. So I want you to really reflect on this, because this is affecting all of us where that full moon is falling. Many birds on a limb of a big tree branch. What do birds mean? Birds mean chittering, twittering, and many voices. Birds are messengers. But I have to read, this is right from Linda Hill's book. She's talking about gathering with people, sharing ideas, switchboards, data banks, the internet, chat groups. The caution is being confused with so many voices, too many voices at once, having trouble hearing the essential truth, and a scattering of energies. I mention this because we could not have, if we didn't have technology and technocrats, we couldn't have the ability of gathering donations for a particular cause and then outing the donators to the greater world unless you have the technology behind it. So this speaks of technology. This speaks also of gossip and too many voices at once. And like any symbol, you can interpret it as you will, right? So in your individual lives, the full moon may be giving you different ideas, different messages on that big tree branch. How do you want to proceed? What new ideas are being downloaded within yourself about what the next step might be in your life, where you find Leo? All right. So thank you, Katerina. Thank you. Wow. The weather, rain, Pasadena, hail, and snow. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's a good thing. Okay. What's bothering me is that others aren't listening to others. Everyone's just talking. Carrie, that's well said. So well said. And my hope is that we're hearing all this clatter and all this information, and maybe people will maybe the narrative will change and people will begin to listen, because the full moon is a representation of emotional conflict, but it can only work if people transpose their perspective by going into someone else's shoes. So in astrology, an opposition is not necessarily a bad thing. An opposition is an opportunity to have empathy, to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Does that make sense? Hello from Mexico. Hello to Mexico. Hi, Lynn B. Okay. Question of the week for you, friends. Are you overwhelmed with the inner chatter within yourself? Are you, like Carrie said, just tired with people chattering and not coming to conclusions? And the full moon really does show that as well, because of the inconjunct that's taking place. So this is a story that came out just 2 hours ago, right before I started doing the Cosmic Connections in my hometown in Buffalo. Talk about chirping. The birds are chirping. So this was 2 hours ago. The Prime Minister of Canada was admonished when, and the House of Commons erupted into shouts of condemnation because he was accusing one of the MPs for the opposing party, the Conservative Party, of standing with people who wave swastikas. All right, he said that he just impulsively came out with this very inflammatory statement, and he was subdued within the House of Commons. And this happened just a couple of hours ago. And so let's take a look at where that full moon was falling in Trudeau's chart. Now, his chart is a very accurate one. We have the actual time of birth. And for you astrologers out there, he was born on December, let's see if I can read my own slide here, 25th and 1971, 9:27 p.m. in Ottawa. Okay, so again, we have the exact time here. He has the Virgo rising. He has a Capricorn sun. He has a moon in the sign of Aries, but the full moon was downloading in his 12th house. Now, the 12th house, friends, you know this, is the house often of unconsciousness, when we act or react without thinking. And so that's where the full moon was being activated in Prime Minister Trudeau's chart today. And the inconjunct was also taking in with that Pluto and that Neptune in his 7th house, in his 5th house. But very, very importantly, he's having his Chiron return. And those of you who are nearing 50 years of age or have gone past age 50 are very familiar with the concept of Chiron return. When Chiron returns in our chart, our vulnerability as being human gets activated, and we have to take care of that wound that we've carried since childhood. And or not, we start growing and changing and evolving. One astrologer had said, at Chiron return, either we start living or we start to die. So he's having the exact degree of his Chiron return. Never before in the history of Canada has the Emergencies Act been put forth, and that was happening, of course, this past week. This is a very black moon Lilith full moon. I have to take a look at the US's chart because this is a big, big week for the US. That full moon is exactly the same degree opposite the natal moon of the United States of America. And it's in the 9th house. What's the 9th house? Foreign affairs. Of course, the United States is preoccupied with the supply chain issue that's being created by the trucker strike. And it's also extremely preoccupied with the Ukraine. Right before I started talking to you tonight, there was a lot of activity on Twitter about 7,000 troops being moved to the border of the Ukraine by Russia. And there's all eyes are on the Ukraine today, tonight, wherever you may be. But you can see the volatility in the US's chart. The full moon is exactly opposite the US's moon sign in Aquarius. Wow. And we have that same yod in effect. We also have black moon Lilith transiting on top of the US's Mars. And we know, of course, Mars is war. Mars is aggravation at best and war at worst. All right, so Black Moon Lilith is activating here. That's not the whole story, but I want to just show you this chart as well. All right, we're going to remove the slides right now and just chit chat with you. All right. Okay, so a lot of people are feeling that they're having their head full with chatter and they can't kind of quiet things down. That is very normal. You want to see where the full moon is falling in your chart. Lynn and Monica and Angie and Heather. All right, so that's one quality of the full moon. But because it's Leo, Leo is creativity. Leo rules the heart. So on the positive side, this full moon may be showing you and demonstrating your heart passion. So use this next couple of weeks, actually, until we get to the new cycle, brand new cycle in Pisces, to really consider what turns you on, what makes your heart sing. That's the positive of the full moon. What we've already talked about the Sabian symbol, but with the Leo is the energy of the individualized spark of life, the individuality that we all have that's inherent to us. We are all unique beings. We're all common. That is Aquarius. We're all one big happy humanity family, but we all have an individuality that wants to be expressed. So the full moon is the time to identify what makes your heart sing. All right. Starting wearing less and going out more. Okay, Ben, very good. Hi, April. All right. Hi, Ben. Greetings all. Francia. Hello, Ben. Hello, Monica. Fabulous. I'm glad you're all here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go through, I call it the Reader's Digest version of astrology. It's very superficial. It's kind of sun sign astrology. If you know your rising sign, it can help, but it gives you a little grounding where this full moon is falling in your chart. So if you are Aries or Aries rising, the full moon is illuminating where you stand within the social network, right? So your friends, your groups, your associations. For Taurus or Taurus rising, this energy is asking you to come up to the plate and be a little bit more of a leader in your career. For Gemini or Gemini rising, it's asking you to become the person that needs to identify their time and also do whatever it takes to basically, just make a little note here, to activate your everyday schedule so you have that under more control. For Cancer or Cancer rising, this energy is asking you to tap into your inner sense of self using spiritual or psychological tools and to empower yourself. For Leo or Leo rising, this energy is asking you to embrace the partners in your life, your BFFs, your significant others, or to become a better partner. For Virgo or Virgo rising, this energy is asking you to really spend more time in self-care, taking care of, the medical issues and mind, body, and spirit healing. For Libra or Libra rising, have fun, have joy, tap into your creativity. For Scorpio or Scorpio rising, spend some time with family, maybe do some work around the home to create a better and more complete nest. For Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, this energy is asking you to basically speak your truth, speak your freedom, and speak or learn or travel or spend some time planning for those issues. For Capricorn or Capricorn rising, take a look at your inventory of your skills and perhaps create a more lucrative income stream for you. For Aquarius or Aquarius rising, all eyes are on you. And then we've got our beautiful Pisces. Spend some time in rest and relaxation as we go through this full moon phase. All right, we're going to be doing a little bit of work now with the psychic mediumistic part of our little gathering. So if you would like to get a reading, please say so. And okay, we got some comments here. Glasses of champagne on the dance floor. I love it, Ben. Marilyn is here. Hi, JB. Thank you for being here. Feeling lost and torn, having a hard time making a big decision. Amber, everyone where they find Capricorn have gone through an initiation of sorts, right? So my suggestion to you, Amber, might be to go back to that Venus star point, which I spoke of earlier, around January 8th, because that was a very significant time for wherever you find Capricorn in your chart. You may have been getting some input or insight then. And then because Mars and Venus are together in the sky, be systematic with making your decision before you execute it. Capricorn demands a routine and a strategy. That's the superpower of Capricorn, step by step. So I'm not saying that you have to do that and everything, but this important decision, you might get some insight, perhaps even in a dream tonight with the full moon. All right. So the readings are more psychic. They're more mediumistic. I don't know if I'll be able to, I don't know what to happen because I just trust spirit. I say a prayer and I randomly select people and I close my eyes and see what happens. All right. So dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words to be filled with love and light, truth, inspiration, and healing for the highest and best as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. All right. I got, all right. I got Lynn B. You're up, Lynn. You get a reading tonight. I think you're still in the room. And again, I just do this randomly, friends, with my eyes closed. I'd love to spend everyone get a reading, but I do that, by the way. If you're ever interested, I'm just going to put my my website on. You can always consider coming to see me in Buffalo, New York. Okay. And so I'm going to go to Lynn right now. And yeah, with the wonders of Zoom, we have wonderful opportunities to be able to connect with everybody. And please, by the way, as soon as you get off tonight, make sure you visit the Time Lords magazine through the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, and it's free for you all. Lynn, as I'm tuning into your energy, I'm very, very aware of, I want to say, some lessening of sadness within your psyche. It feels as though there was a lot of mourning going on, grief. And I want to go back about 3 to 4 months ago. And it wasn't just mourning. It was the mourning of an estranged relationship. It wasn't necessarily the death of someone, but I feel that there was a lot of sadness right around November and December because there was a sense that you were no longer connected with someone that used to be near and dear to you. And you've gotten a lot of spiritual, I want to use the word assist, because you've been reaching out and praying or evoking spirit, however you would call it. And it's been working. It's almost like I feel that you've just had some rest of your spirit recently. You've been saying to yourself, you know what? I don't have to get to every little thing all the time. I need to take a time out. And do you have a dog, Lynn, or a cat? I'm getting a little furry friend around you that gives you a lot of solace and a lot of peace. I'm also picking up something to do when you were a child that you're redoing now as an adult, that perhaps you, and not a very young child, maybe a teenager, maybe you were doing some drawing or some crafting at that time, but you're pulling out your old sketchboards or doing something that was artistically inspiring you as a young person. And as you're moving into this next phase of life, you're saying, you know what, I want to do that again. And oh, okay, Friends Puppies you watch. Okay, that could be at the little doggies that you watch. Yeah, it was just a lot of grief during the holidays, Lynn. But I wanted to just maybe get some feedback from you about what I was picking up. Some creative thing you used to do as a teenager. And I don't think it's sketching per se, but maybe some watercoloring, something creative, something artistic that you thought about doing. And I'm getting a lot of encouragement from spirit to pull that out again. Okay. You're helping your grandson with that. Perfect. Because that might even dovetail into another hobby that gives you a lot of peace and a lot of joy. We don't always do that, do we, friends? Myself included, just doing things for the heck of it without an end game. But this is going to be very, very helpful to your spirit, Lynn, by working with the art, not just with your grandson, but on your own as well, and painting. Perfect. That's what I was getting. Thank you for your feedback, Lynn, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and appreciate all of you for being here tonight. We're going to do another read. And okay, Sandy Reed, or Reed, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Sandy? Hello, Sandy. Sandy, are you there? Are you here? Are you okay? Sandy Reed, just say you're still in the room and I'll be able to tune into you. And again, I would love to read all of you, but we just do a little meet and greets. Okay, Sandy. I just say I'm here and I will come to you. All right. Going once, going twice. Are you still with us, Sandy? I know there's a delay with the chat. And as I'm waiting for Sandy to come in, really use this energy of the full moon to activate your heart's desire. That is one of the things we can do in a positive note. And maybe if there's someone in your life that you've had that contentious relationship with, put yourself in their shoes. The full moon asks us to be, oh, Sandy be gone. I guess she is. Okay. I will close my eyes and pick another person. So please remember that dynamic. The full moon isn't anything to be worried about. It's an opportunity for empathic, diplomatic consideration. Okay. April, I come to you with my thumb. April Z. All right. I'm going to come with you, Miss April. So as I'm tuning into your energy, April, I'm very aware of you have worked very strongly recently on a relationship, and that's near and dear to your heart. And we had Valentine's Day this past week. I feel not a literal heartache, but feeling a little disappointed on some level with a significant other. And as I'm moving through this year, by end of April, first part of May, you have a lot more, I'll use the word revelation about what the next step might be. And there's an old saying that someone who does not have their cup filled can't pour their essence onto other people. So the significant relationship, and I feel it's a romantic, but it could be a good friend. I'm not sure which. It is a male, however, has been down in the dumps. So he has not been able to come up to the plate and offer a lot of his love and appreciation of you as a person. So you've been holding the bag, so to speak. And that makes sense, April? Okay. And were you born in April, by the way? That's not necessarily the case, right? We have people with these beautiful names aren't necessarily born in April, but I'm picking the end of April for you cyclically and through the first couple of weeks of May, when you receive information that gives you data as to what you want to do next within this relationship. But give this individual a chance, because don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about his energy and his inability to kind of pick himself up and feel good enough to share with you. That's one little message for you. The other message is, okay, I'm hearing almost percussion, not percussion, like tambourines, some sort of like feisty band music. I don't know if you're in a band. I don't mean a rock and roll band, but I mean like almost a military band. Let me see what I'm getting with this. But it's a lot of horns. It's a lot of marching. I'm going to interpret that to mean that there's someone from the other side of life that wants you, remind you to be a good soldier and to soldier on, and be a little bit more vocal with communicating your particular power, because sometimes, and not that you're shy, you're not, I wouldn't describe you as a shy person, but you're really reluctant to express yourself with all of your passion. And this individual, I believe, was in the military, and that's why I'm getting this image of the military for you. And this person may not have known you except when you were a child. All right. So they're giving you that onus to be more commanding with your abilities, more commanding with your ability to speak your truth, and not be worried about repercussions. And it's funny, the word repercussions has the word percussion as a root in there. So beat your own drum with more passion is the message for April, and not be afraid, because they won't slay you when you speak your mind. And he's saying this, the person in spirit, especially in a business or social way. All right. Okay. Is that your daddy? Okay. Fabulous. Well, he's got your back, sweetheart. Okay. Oh, interesting. Oh, God bless you. God bless him for coming through tonight. Thank you for that feedback. Yep. He's giving you a little push. He's giving you that little confidence. And it's been my great pleasure to connect with him and with you tonight. I love doing these mediumistic messages. All right, friends, we're at the end of our time together. You can always connect with me online. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler. You can always connect with the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. I encourage you to do so. This is your platform for astrological wisdom and knowledge. Wonderful astrologers, committed astrologers, to spread the word that astrology is the cosmic language that can help all of us. Can't always predict specifics, but we sure can tell you when we're having an intense week like this one, right? Like the full moon that's illuminating the skies, that's opposite to the United States of America's chart. Oh my goodness. And this week, on February 20th, we have the US's first Pluto return. All eyes are on the US and the economy, because this Pluto return is falling in the second house of money, values, and the shadow side of the US's character is going to be coming into the light to be transformed and changed like it's never been before, because it's never happened before. The Pluto return, that is. I get to see you next week if you are able and willing. I love spending time with you on Wednesday. Have a fantastic week. Much love and light, and thank you to you. Good night now.